Hello and welcome to step 3 of the order in which we apply our makeup. And for each step, what products should I be picking for my specific skin type and what I'm looking for? Step 3 is concealer, and I have one or two we can talk about. As I've mentioned in my 2 previous videos, these first 3 steps, primer, foundation, concealer, are the most important for your base. This is where you're going to target any skin concerns you have and really start to build where you want your makeup to be when you're done. As always, I have way more product than anyone on this earth needs, so please don't feel like you need 75 different concealers because you don't. You have one face, you need one concealer. Maybe 2 if you're going to get 2 different shades depending on what time of year, where your skin tone is at. That's literally it. You don't need 15 different products of anything in one category. I understand that today's day is all about influencing and shoving products down your throat constantly to make money. So please just realize that that is not normal. It's not normal and it needs to stop being okay. Rant over. Let's get into this. Are you dry? Do you need something more hydrating? Are you super oily and you need something that's going to suck a little bit of oiliness out and be a little more mattifying? Do you have dark circles that you're really trying to conceal? Are you looking to correct anything? Do you need to worry about color theory and how to get rid of dark circles or pigmentation and all this stuff? There are so many things that go into, I want a concealer. So when someone tells me hey, what's a good concealer? I'm like, well, what are you doing with it? Are you just highlighting your face? Do you have concerns where you're going to try and cover everything? I have very pigmented eyelids. So I try and make sure that my concealer has a little bit of decent coverage, but not full coverage, because I feel like that can be a little too cakey on me at least. But always keeping in mind your skin type and what your finished product should look like. Now, by no means am I going to talk about every single concealer in here because this is absurd and not necessary. But there are going to be a few that I'm going to target for different areas where I'm going to suggest them for people. These are some major favorite concealers of mine. If you watch my channel, you should recognize most, if not all of these. The first one I'm going to mention is this NARS Pot Concealer. Mine is in the shade Custard. You can see she has been loved. This, being a more thick, high coverage formula, is not something I would put under my eyes. This is specifically only going to be for you if you have specific dark spots, or you have hyperpigmentation, or you have acne scars or acne that you're going to cover. This is going to be your best friend. Unfortunately, this should have technically been step 1.5 because I would put this on under my foundation, but you will take this and just put it on just the spots to spot conceal. You're going to cover those spots and leave it opaque. Let this dry for a few minutes and then go in with your foundation, just patting. And again, this is going to be stressed very much throughout every single step. I always say, try not to swirl your makeup any step you're in. You kind of want to just pat if you can, because you don't want to move around things that you put on your face strategically in certain areas, because then you're just disturbing all that work you've done. So this is the first step where we're going to see that being super, super important. You're going to put this on your spot, blend it out a little bit, and leave it full coverage, let it dry, and then you'll go in with your foundation and you'll never know that you had any blemishes underneath it. This is the NYX Bear With Me concealer. It's a serum consistency. The one thing I hate is that it is a pump. I have debated buying just an empty regular concealer tube off Amazon and pumping it in there, because it's kind of annoying that you have to pump it out to use it. But this is a really, really great formula. It is so thin and very slippy and hydrating. It is just so beautiful under the eyes. So if you're looking for just a basic concealer, you're not worried too much about coverage, this is a perfect place to start. This is great for younger girls. You don't need to cover much, but this one is really good also for more mature skin because it's more of a thin formula and it's not going to get all crepey and cakey under your eyes. Next up is my Anastasia concealer. I love this one. The coverage on this is amazeballs. And I really like this applicator being kind of an elongated doe foot, more triangular, but the coverage on this is so good. You made a bad choice 15 years ago, this girl's erasing it for you. It's very full coverage, but it also isn't super matte. It's very nice and luminous. You don't need too much of this, so it's not going to get super heavy under your eyes. I really, really, really like this concealer. This is my number 2. Obsessed with it. Cassie, if Anastasia is your number 2, who's your number 1? Let me tell you, this MAC one has become my obsession. Now this one I've been pairing with their Luminous Serum foundation, and these are just unstoppable. I love this foundation too. I talked about it enough already. But first off, the packaging, 5,000 out of 10 for this black ombre. It's just so delicious. Also, the applicator on this, it reminds me of a little honeycomb thing, the little stick to take your honey out. It's like a doe foot, but it's very rounded. It still does have that little slant to it, but it's just so cute. I love it. I bought this because of Miss Megan Robinson. She recommended this before it even launched, and I was foaming at the mouth to buy it. It is so beautiful. I love it. It's got great coverage in my opinion. I mean, I don't have severe things I'm trying to cover under my eyes, but it just looks so beautiful. It's serumy, it's radiant, it's got skincare benefits. It's just so nice. This one is like perfect, well-rounded. It could definitely work out for dry skin, aka me. I feel like this could also work for someone who is matte because you are gonna set it afterwards. This is just a well-rounded, great concealer. Also approved, in my opinion, for more mature skin because it's not gonna sit in your fine lines. It's just so good. Now, the last two I'm going to mention are also really great in terms of coverage. This is the e.l.f. This is the Hydrating Camo Concealer. The white top is the hydrating one. They also have the original one, which is black, which is better suited if you are more oily. So I love that they have this formula for both skin types. The black top one is supposed to be a perfect direct dupe for Tarte Shape Tape, but this one being hydrating and severely full coverage, and with this big, fat, juicy doe foot, just, I don't know, this one does something to me. If I need something hydrating and full coverage, this is where I'm going. I really, really like this one. This is a great recommendation. Again, affordable. And this one is really, really good from e.l.f. And I love that they have both a hydrating and a mattifying option. So if you're more dry, get the white cap. If you are more oily, get the black. The final concealer I'm going to mention is the NYX Born This Way. Make sure it's the fat one, number one. I do not like the thin one. I know the thin one is supposed to be like natural, creamy, radiant, and I hated that one. It was just disgusting. This one is amazing. This concealer is the only other one that I would recommend to cover blemishes besides the NARS Pot Concealer. So these two are both really, really good in terms of coverage. And this one can dry down to be very, very matte. So this one will do the same exact thing as the NARS one. So if you want to put this on something before you put your foundation on, let it dry and go over, it's still going to cover everything just as good as the NARS one. So if you don't want to buy an extra product to have like the pot concealer in addition to a regular concealer, this is your perfect little combo platter right here. Really, really, really great coverage. It's a little more matte though. So if you're worried about being super, super dry under your eyes, I probably wouldn't get this one, but this one has really, really great coverage. All around amazing. I love this stuff. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to use my MAC one because it's my baby. Mwah. Now, these are the areas that I apply my concealer. I just put a little bit under my eyes in this little crevasse here. I don't do like the big triangle like everyone does. I'll put a little smidgen of a dab on my lids, a little bit on my forehead just to like bring some brightness there. Sometimes a little on my chin, and sometimes, not always, in my little crevasse here in my nose because I always get like pigmentation there. And then the only brushes I can use under my eye are these Kit & Paul ones. They are just amazing. This BK Beauty one is my current absolute favorite. This is the 109 and I use the 101 for my foundation. So they are literally the same brush, just different sizes. But when I blend out, you really, again, like I've mentioned earlier, you just want to pat because at this point, I don't want to swipe this all over my face and it's just going to disturb everything underneath. You really want to pat it and put it exactly where you want it. And that way the coverage will stay there. Because if you're swiping it all over, you're really shearing it out and taking away the coverage. So when you just pat it, it's staying exactly where you put it. You're just blending it out. And this is my face after blending it out. You can see all the discoloration on my lids is covered. All underneath my eye is covered. There's a little bit of brightness down the center where I put it. It's all just like makes a nice basic canvas for us to move on to the next step. So this is what we call our base, where you have the primer, foundation, and concealer, and everything else is building off of this. This is how you target everything you wanted so far. And then when we go in with the other products, we can kind of enhance other areas that we want. But these three first steps should really target issues that we have with our skin. And the other ones are going to kind of be like enhancing different areas that we want. The next two steps are going to be cream bronzer and blush. So if you want to do those ones, awesome sauce. It's going to make your stuff last longer because as the powders wear off, you'll still have the creams underneath and create that base and whatnot and like layer it up. That's great, but I totally understand people not wanting to do that every single day. So steps 4 and 5 are going to be optional. And then you can go on to just step 6 if you want, where we talk about powder. Let me know how you're liking this series so far. I'm having so much fun doing it. I've always wanted to do more educational situations with makeup instead of just saying, oh my God, I love this product, go buy it. I want you to really be more tailored to you so you can kind of understand makeup and get more comfortable and more confident in how you do your makeup and how you look, and knowing that you're going to achieve what you want your face to look like instead of just copying what someone else looks like and not liking the way it transfers to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in step 4, possibly step 6 if you're going to skip the other 2, but I totally understand either way, and I'll see you in the next one. Love ya.